I was never supposed to walk through that cemetery. And I definitely wasn't supposed to see a grave with my name and today's date carved into it. Rain pelted the forest floor as Evan Carter trekked through the overgrown trail, his boots slick with mud, his breath misting in the cold October air. What was meant to be a peaceful weekend hike had turned into something else entirely after he veered off trail to avoid a fallen tree. He stumbled down a hill, crashing through wet leaves and underbrush until he landed in an open clearing. There, hidden beneath gnarled oaks and moss-covered stones, lay a forgotten cemetery. The air grew heavier. The temperature dropped. It was silent. Too silent. As Evan stood and swept his flashlight across the overgrown grave markers, something made his breath hitch. One of the stones looked new, polished, untouched by time. He walked closer, wiping rain from his eyes, and shined the beam on the inscription. Evan Michael Carter, born June 7, 1996, died October 13, 2025. His stomach dropped. That was his full name. And today was October 13, 2025. Someone dug a grave for me, and they planned for it to be filled by sundown. When I tried to call for help, my phone showed no service. But then it rang, and the caller ID just said, "Gravedigger." Panic took over. Evan fumbled for his phone. No bars, no signal. He climbed a slope, turned in all directions. Still nothing. Then, without warning, his phone buzzed in his hand. A call was coming in. Incoming call. Gravedigger. He stared, breath frozen. His thumb hovered over the screen. He didn't answer. The call ended. Seconds later, a text appeared. "You're running out of time. Don't fight it." He dropped the phone. When he picked it up again, the signal was gone. Every time I tried to leave that place, the forest seemed to twist and pull me back in. I wasn't alone in the cemetery. Someone else was watching me, from behind a crumbling mausoleum, and they were holding a shovel. Evan spotted movement out of the corner of his eye. Behind a crumbling stone building, a mausoleum barely holding itself together, someone was standing still, watching him. The figure was tall, wearing a dark coat, hood up, face obscured. In one hand, he held a shovel. The other hand pointed to the grave. Evan shouted, "Hey, I need help!" No answer. The figure tilted its head, then slowly stepped behind the mausoleum and disappeared. That wasn't just any grave. It had been freshly dug. Inside the mausoleum, I found a journal. And the last person who wrote in it died the day after they saw their own grave. Evan pushed open the mausoleum's rusted iron door, its groan echoing like a warning. Inside, dust coated every surface. Cobwebs laced the ceiling. On a cracked stone altar sat a weather-worn leather journal. He opened it. The entries were short, each dated. Each described a different person finding a grave with their name. And each entry ended the same way. The writer vanished the next day. The last entry. "Saw my grave today. I think this is it. If you're reading this, you're next. Unless you find someone to take your place. Alicia F., October 12, 2025. The only way to survive was to curse someone else in my place. I looked at my watch. It was counting backward. Evan checked his watch. It blinked 10:44 p.m., then 10:43, then 10:42. He stared. The numbers were counting down. His phone showed the same thing. Even his fitness tracker. Tick, tick, tick. Leaves rustled nearby, though no wind blew. I wasn't just running out of time. Time was running out of me. Something was alive in that grave, and it was whispering my name. Evan returned to the grave, trembling. It was deeper than before. Fresh soil on the edges. A scent of rot. In the air, he leaned over the edge and heard it. A whisper. "Evan!" He fell backward, heart racing, but he couldn't stop himself. He crawled forward again and placed his hand on the dirt. A cold, wet hand grabbed his wrist. He screamed. It had my hand. I found her hiding in the woods. The girl from the last journal entry. and she was wearing my face. Evan fled from the cemetery into the dark woods. His heart thundered. Branches clawed at his skin. He ran blindly until he saw the flicker of candlelight through the trees. A cabin. Inside, a girl sat near a lantern, rocking back and forth. Her clothes were torn, her eyes hollow. She looked up, and Evan recoiled. She had his face. His exact face. Except distorted, warped like a bad memory. She whispered, "You saw the grave, didn't you?" Evan stepped back. "Who are you?" "Alicia," she said. "It took my face, so I could leave. To live, it must trade one soul for another. Death gave me a choice, dig or be buried." Night surrounded the cemetery like a noose. Evan returned trembling, shovel in hand. The dark figure emerged again, closer now. Its face still hidden. It lifted a finger and pointed at the grave. A voice echoed in Evan's mind. "Dig, or join the others." His hands moved on their own. He dug. 1 foot, 2 feet. Then he stopped. Inside the grave was a mirror, and in it he saw himself, pale and lifeless. He dropped the shovel. The figure stepped forward. But then I remembered the final way out. I made one call before my battery died, and I invited someone else into the forest. Evan's fingers shook as he unlocked his phone. The battery was nearly dead. He called Jason, his older brother. "You've got to come. I found something insane out here. Please." Jason hesitated. Then, "Okay, text me the location." Evan sent the pin. 30 minutes later, the forest calmed. The whispers stopped. He walked to the grave. The headstone had changed. Jason Carter, October 13th, 2025. Evan dropped to his knees, crying. I wasn't saved. I was spared. For now. I left the woods that night. But the grave never really left me. Evan drove home in silence. He deleted the call logs, the messages. He scrubbed the mud off his skin, but the cold wouldn't leave. In the mirror, he barely recognized his face. Each night, he heard digging. Each night, he dreamed of clawing from the earth. Then, one morning, his phone rang. Incoming call. Gravedigger. His heart stopped. "You can bury a body, but a cursed soul always digs itself free."